I just got back from LSPR yesterday and I come home to see this. My uncle dropped a free tractor on his get rid of stuff tour. It is blocking the driveway. Let's get it running and get it out of here. I don't know much about these tractors, but I know it has a flathead inline 4. I tried to get it running about 4 years ago, but I didn't know much about how cars work in that much detail back then. Yeah, that's got oil. Kind of hard to see the spark plugs in here because we got that flathead and they're right on top. But let's take a look here. Not even hand tight. Looks brand new. Brand new. Brand new. That one also looks brand new. So awesome. Let's squirt some VR1 1030 in all the cylinders. Getting a little warm out here. Let's open the battery thing here. I read online this is positive ground, so let's just verify that. This battery is really old, 611. They have it wired up negative ground, so maybe someone converted it. Looks like the alternator is relatively recent, maybe upgraded. But wait, alternator? What? It does look like an alternator, doesn't it? How does this thing work? We got two. Looks like wheel brakes on the back. I think this is the clutch. We got our gear shift. I'm gonna try to put this thing in neutral. I think that's neutral. First, third, neutral. Okay. Key is in it. How does it work? Do we have anything? Nothing. Oh, maybe that's ignition, and oh, we have a start thing over here. Start solenoid not working. Let's get the continuity tester out. We'll see if we're getting any power anywhere. There's our first problem. Oh, there we go. We got it. I had it backward. Yeah, so we have voltage on there. Okay, we have voltage to the starter solenoid. Looks like that's the solenoid. So where does that go? That has a red wire coming off it. Goes all over the engine. Goes to the alternator. Getting power there too. Not seeing any continuity on this one. So I don't think we're getting power to the coil. Let's check out where that wire comes from. So we got our key switch up, way up here. That one. We got some kind of junction box here, and then we got, if we follow the power from the key switch, it goes to the junction box. Get this green wire going down here, and it's got this janky connection here, connects up to the battery. So if we double check again that our battery yep, that has voltage, then that should come up the green wire and have voltage here. It does. Wait, is that the green one? Yep. Okay, and then that goes up to this thing. I guess maybe this is the key switch. Has it there. What else do we have? Anything there? There.
There's a key on now.
Gets power to both now. It's power to that. And not that. A little bit that. So ballast is, it is a resistor. So it is resisting. Not sure what this is. It just comes off the junction box. This one comes off the gauge. All right, now let's see if we get power with the key switch in the other position. A little bit, yeah. We got the same power as coming out of the ballast resistor. I think now we should check for a spark on the spark plugs, make sure that there's no spark there, because there probably isn't. And from there we can move on to probably points. Nothing. These distributors up here, it's pretty annoying. We can pop the cap off there. I think it'll come off. Okay. I think I did cap and rotor back 4 years ago, whatever it was. But I don't think I did points because I didn't know what points were. Okay. Got a little rotor here. Obviously brand new Napa stuff made in Mexico. They have this kind of weird disc thing in there. Okay. I don't know what that's supposed to do, maybe shield wayward sparks or something, but it's annoying. Really nice if I could actually see what's going on in here. I'm doing it all wrong. I need to take the distributor out and set the points on the bench and then put the whole distributor back in. Thankfully, you know, usually putting a distributor in a car, it has the helical cut gears and everything, so it actually turns the rotor as you put it in. I guess this is just a keyed shaft, so you can only put it in right or left, basically. I just need to note which way my rotor is turning, pull the distributor off, and I should be able to put it back in the same way, and it'll only go in one of two ways. So we're gonna go with that, put it on the bench and see what happens. Convenient carry handle on here. So we have our keyed shaft in the back. It's pretty dirty, but I can clean it up, and our points. Came out pretty easy. Now we have our points in here, and this gap in here should be 15 thou. And it is too tight. So when the scraper rubbing block here wears down, that means the points close up and it doesn't get enough spark. So we're going to open it back up and put it to the right place. I'm not sure what this thing does. It's like an eccentric screw. Huh. Wow. As I turn the screw, the points gap opens and closes. Neat. I like that. One of the problems is the points here are not contacting in a parallel directions. That looks pretty good. Last thing I'm going to do out here is throw some points lube on here, and this is a Lubricam. I have found that if you use the wrong lubricant, it doesn't actually do its job. So, you know, I guess a good lesson for all lubricants. Make sure that it doesn't wear down the block very much, and it'll keep our points gap in a better condition in the future. So I can take my deal there, and I want my rotor to point down, right? How did that go on? I think that's it. Alright, I'm gonna try to slide this thing in. Ah! This is really fun. Oh yeah. That's what I want to do on a Monday morning. Just about time to go to work. I was gonna plug my wires back in, and I was trying to pull the little terminal through the spark plug boot. Came off, so I guess I gotta find another set of wires today. I actually got the terminal recrimped, so that works. $0 fix, and I did a little tape over a split. Let's put this thing back in. Alright, we got all 4 spark plugs in. We got all 4 wires on there. I threw a zip tie on this wire to keep it off the exhaust manifold, a little bit of safety, and I think it's time to throw the spark tester on that I found, and we'll see if it has spark this time. Power. Let's try another plug and make sure that it wasn't just a bad connection or bad wire in this one. I think the battery might just be a little low, so we're gonna let that charge over there. While the battery charges, let's move on to fuel and make sure we have that. There appears to be no fuel pump on this old machine. It comes out of the tank here into a sediment bowl, which is clearly disgusting. Through this hose here, which is super sketchy, old, into our updraft carb, and we have an intake pipe here that seems a little bit loose, like the clamp isn't even clamped on. So I think the best thing to do now is pull this intake piping off, and we can see if we can get that fuel to flow in there. There we go. Got some oil inside, that's good. Okay. The choke plate here has a little opening in the top that has a little spring on it. The throttle has very limited movement. See if we can get some carb cleaner in there and start it up. If I'm going to be cleaning out the sediment bowl, I want to make sure that this is closed and not open, so just just see if we can get this to move a little bit. Oh, it's actually moving. Is it closed now? Oh no, that's not good. Alright, we're gonna assume this thing is closed. I want to get this off, and it looks like it goes like, oh, that's nice and loose. So drop a bowl down. Okay, it's not pouring any more out, that's good. There's sediment in there, so it's doing something. Well, predictably, everything smells like fuel varnish. We did confirm that we have weak spark on one of the cylinders. I assume that the other two would have some spark as well. The battery's charging. Hopefully we'll get a little more juice out of it right now. And we have no fuel supply. It's varnished anyway. So I couldn't find any gasoline in a little jar. And it's an updraft carburetor anyway, so you can't squirt it down in. We're going to try a little Berryman. See if it'll happen. Not turning very fast. I wonder if something's wrong with the starter. It just doesn't quite flow the juice. I didn't check compression. It's apparently supposed to have 6.5 to 1 compression. So I don't know how useful that would be anyway. And you also have to have a special adapter to go into the spark plug holes because the gas tank is right above that flathead. I don't know if I want to deal with that right now. I think maybe we'll hook up a different battery and see if it'll crank a little faster. Just so happens that Dad's new toy is equipped with the incorrect battery right now, and it is the same size that's in the Ford tractor right now. We're gonna pop this thing out, put it in the tractor, see if it works better. My theory here is that the battery in the tractor is totally dead. It's a dozen years old, and the only battery connection was coming through those jumper cables. So the amperage basically was limited by the clamps on the battery. So I put this other battery in, hopefully with the charger on here, making sure it's topped off, we can get this thing spinning a little bit better. It is still an old tractor though. Drink her down, baby. It's the good stuff. It's the good stuff. Okay. Oh, this isn't charged up, is it? While we wait for that battery, let's try to get this fuel fitting off.
You know what I would do?
What?
I'd take the fuel line off and spin that whole thing off.
That's a drop. Well, the sediment bowl came out all right. There's some gunk in it in the fuel inlet. So I'm gonna pop this thing back in actually so it doesn't drip and start a fire. But it looks like Napa has one at the DC. So we're gonna get that in today, hopefully put it in tomorrow. But in the meantime, I have the hose off right now, and the hose is on this little kind of barbed flared fitting. So I can actually just put carb cleaner right in the fitting there, and it'll go right in the carb and hopefully get past the needle. Since there's no fuel pump, there should be very little pressure going to that needle, and I'm hoping it'll work. Alright, ignition on, neutral, start. What's up? Hell yeah, it started. I can't stop myself. I gotta throw some more carb cleaner in there and see if it'll run again. Oh, that's awesome. See if that'll work. I think that is a success in the short term. We gotta do some work to this fuel system. We'll be back probably tomorrow morning to do that, we gotta air up the tires, install the new sediment bowl and fuel line, and I think at that point we can drive the stupid thing. Well, I was dicking around here before I went in and found that this fuel filter thing on the carb is shown in stock, or well, not in stock, but in the system at Napa. So I looked at it and hey, it's fine. So we're gonna put that back in. No need to spend extra money. Got a new sediment bowl from Napa. I think it's gonna work. Looks like the fitting that I have for my hose is for a tapered thread, and this one is not, but I think I can just jam it in there and it should be okay. It wasn't too expensive. And then we have a new strainer on the top that the old one doesn't have, so that would be nice too. Let's pop this thing in, see if it'll work. Using some PTFE on this one. Make sure it tightens up nice. I think that's gonna be our last turn. Alright, so pretty easy. That's pretty tight. It's got coolant, so I guess we can run it as long as we need to. Start here. 1 turn, 2. Alright. I guess a little splash of carb cleaner wouldn't hurt, would it? Not with how this thing smells. Why is it so tough to start? You see the bubble on top up here. So I think if we can get that to go forward, we should have some fuel coming to the carburetor. It's not up here that it's making its way over yet, but I can work on that. Yep, no spark. How could there possibly be anything wrong with this wire in this circuit? It's only rubbed through on the top and taped. Okay, yeah, we lost connection to the coil. Done. All right, that was successful. You know, the carbs back then were notoriously leaky, but I don't think they were this leaky.
Does that choke control work?
Choke control, kind of. Nope, not at all. I think this is high power and this is low power, so I think I had it on almost max throttle accidentally. This is a big boy. Holy crap. Oh. Oh. All right. Jeez. That's a lot of oil all at once. Everything's made to be worked on with a adjustable wrench. Hilarious. gasket in there. Makes sense. We got our Napa Gold replacing Napa Gold. Make sure it seals nice. Kind of like that. Right. Okay. That feels pretty good. Put the big plug back in. Look how big that thing is. It's almost as big as the oil filter. One good thing is I don't see any sludge in the cap there. Cool cast dipstick there. We're gonna throw in whatever I have, get rid of it, and run this thing a little bit. Ignition. Not running so hot these days. It keeps shutting off when it's running for a little bit. And it does run rough. I think it's missing on a cylinder or two, but I'm not going to worry about that if I can keep it running. Our idea here maybe is that it may be pulling vacuum on the fuel tank, and I don't know if that really happens with a gravity drip fuel system, but we're going to take the fuel cap off first just to try that. My dad noticed that the PTO is running, so we got a PTO lever here. Back is on, forward is off apparently, and the battery has been charged up again. Ignition on, start. Forgot I have no fuel. Just ridiculous. Oh, it's dripping fuel pretty bad. Okay, we're gonna shut that off and we have to rebuild the carburetor. Worth noting while I clean up, I believe this says 9N on the serial number. If it is a 9N, it appears to be a 1944 tractor. If it's an 8N, it would be a 1949. But I think it's a 9N, so we're gonna call this a 1944 tractor. I got our carb here. Time to tear it down a little bit. By the way, here's our replacement kit. It is the complete kit, so it has more than just the gaskets. It has a few linkages and stuff that we might find handy doing this. Old flathead screws just are not wanting to cooperate. There's no good way to clamp this thing in a vise or anything because we have the choke thing over here, so you can't even get that. These screws I think I'm going to have to use the impact driver on. What a terrible idea putting flatheads on a carburetor. Big ones. There we go. Oh yeah. She's pretty rusty inside, but not a lot of debris in there, thankfully. Is that a repair? I don't know. Let's take it apart. Since the camera and light are both in the way, I'm going to do this off camera. I'll come back to it when we have it all apart and we'll take a look at all the different parts. That is a lot of play. If you're having trouble getting this jet out of here and you're a fellow bike nerd like me, you may have a chainring nut wrench laying around. And because this jet is almost the same exact size as a bicycle chainring bolt, the chainring nut wrench pops on there almost perfectly. So something to use if you can't figure out what else to use. That's great. Otherwise, I had a real issue with pulling this thing off. Now these are tiny little bolts, and they are flathead bolts, and they're from the 1940s, and I really easily could have destroyed this thing, but I was able to go back and forth with the induction heater probably about 6 or 7 times. Just take your time with it. Don't go and smash this thing up with a screwdriver. Get it really hot, cool it down, get it hot, cool it down. Man, I haven't broken a single bolt on this so far, and I'm very happy with that because these flathead bolts are really stupid. Well, it kind of actually took a lot of tools to pull this thing apart, but I got it down to just this little brass tube is here, and that's fine. Get everything else out. The choke plate is out. On the top end, we got the throttle plate out and everything. The deal with the throttle plates and the choke plates is that you have to actually take these screws out, and because it's an updraft carb, they're not worried about these falling into the engine. So you have to take those out, and then the whole thing kind of slides out. We're going to try to take a look at this rusty mess here. We're going to try to clean the rust out. So I'm going to put this in a bath of rust remover right there. See how it does, but that's supposed to attack the iron oxide but leave the iron itself. The carb has been sitting, I think it ran probably 4 cycles in the ultrasonic cleaner here. We're going to pop it out and see how it looks. Jeez, that's hot water. Whew. It looked pretty clean, actually. I did get a lot of gunk on it after I did the rust remover, but this is looking good. I mean, it's almost brand new looking. Got a couple things to clean up with a little probably brass brush or something, or just maybe a rag. And we'll get this thing on the bench and go put it together. Well, it's been sitting here all day. Let's see if this thing actually floats. Yep, the float is floating. It's great news. So there are 2 things we want to do now. We want to get everything adjusted the way it's supposed to be for initial adjustment. We also want to make sure that this thing won't immediately rust when I put it on the tractor. Now, I considered painting it, but didn't want to, so we're going to do something else. I'm going to try... Oh, shoot. Gotta take it back apart. Damn it! Cool. We're back together. Got the efficiency of a race team now. Alright, so instead of painting this thing, because I could, but I don't really want to mask it off, and I just want to get this thing on the tractor. It was raining yesterday, and it's going to rain for 2 more days after this, so let's get it done, get this thing on. So I got engine oil over here and an acid brush, and I'm just going to try to oil this thing up. And of course, when you drip oil, when your engine drips oil, it doesn't rust. So we're going to go by that logic and just give this thing a nice coating of oil. Alright, that ain't going nowhere. Choke is all the way open. Let's try all the way closed. Hey, it works! That's great news. This is awesome. It is misfiring, I know that, so it's not quite up to where I want it to be. Probably needs new wires, I'm guessing, because the wires are mismatched. But I'm gonna fill up the tire over here, and we're gonna try to drive this thing. I guess we have another EPA disaster over here. What is going on with this thing? Oh my god. Don't know how well you can see this, but the O-ring was not fully seated on here. It's kind of sideways, so kind of hard because there's no great place for it to sit, so it just kind of sits wherever it wants to. The oil on top of the filter looks actually really dirty, so it's good to have a filter in there. Probably end up doing another oil change in the spring sometime with actually like VR1 or something. Ignition. Got it. Easy mistake, stupid mistake, you know. Alright, I'm gonna let it idle here for a little bit while we fill out this tire and we'll go try a drive. Does look like the exhaust is clearing up a little bit, that's nice. Turn on to idle here and see what happens. Missing a little bit. Turnkey now. Well, we accomplished the mission to move the tractor up to the riding ring here. So I gotta go around here. I'm gonna reinstall the air filter. I'm gonna grease all the joints because the kingpins definitely need some grease and everything. But hell, it starts up and it runs. So this thing is ready to sit here all winter and come back next spring. Thanks for watching and press on. I gotta run down the driveway or something. This is fun. Second gear this time. gonna try to change the trans fluid probably next spring. But it runs, it's okay.